Welcome to Read Feed, my corner of the internet where I review a book that I have just read. And this girl, I spent my birthday with her book, Jennie, Garth, Deep Thoughts of a Hollywood Blonde. It is a memoir, and it is she talks about her days as 90210 and a little touch on how I know her, which is what I like about you. She writes on the back cover of her book, "No one warned me that deciding to write a book about my life would unleash all of the insecurities, fears, and doubts I've been trying to outwit and outrun my whole life." But that's exactly what happened. I wanted to tell my truth with as much courage as I could muster, and to be as fearless as possible as I delved into the darker corners of my mind. The result surprised me. I got to know myself in new ways. Revealing myself in these pages has been at times terrifying, but also one of the most liberating experiences of my life. That's because once you start writing, all of these embarrassing, wonderful, hilarious, painful, and surreal things that make you who you are get flushed up to the surface. And so, word by word, I began to put the story of me together. All of these personal recollections, memories, and anecdotes have been printed and bound into this book, which means that now you get to know me too. I finished her book, summing it up as her language is a bit shocking. Like having a narrator speak such harsh language was shocking. The read is all about her journey of finally taking a breath and learning to enjoy the now. Some passages break the narrative and turn it toward the reader, and it's a great device that she uses. And it's not every single chapter that it's in, but there is some cool stuff. So I'd like to share a little quote in her book that I found very cool. "Thank God we had one another." She's talking about her 90210 days when she just got famous. "Thank God we had one another, because we were able to protect each other from the harm this kind of sudden fame can bring with it, by staying close and huddling up and focusing on getting the job done. Maintaining our professionalism as a group protected us and kept us all somewhat sane, while our lives changed forever, and it bonded us as friends for life." One of the cool things is she talks about her dressing room. Now, if you've ever performed somewhere, you know that sometimes dressing rooms are provided for you, or sometimes there are makeshift dressing rooms. And so she talks about how she made over her dressing room to make it seem less like a building and more like an oasis. "I had my then assistant Adele get a giant white parachute at a nearby army surplus store. I anchored this over the hideous fluorescent light fixtures that dangled from the ceiling, then tacked up the rest of the in the four corners of the room." She has a chapter where she talks about kombucha. It actually comes from a mushroom, and she explained how she had gotten the mother mushroom and how she grew her own kombucha. Kombucha? However you say it. She actually had a phase in her life where she did that, which is cool and out of the norm. "Sometimes when you're all about minding your business, you can leave a little back door to your heart unattended. And sometimes when this happens and you're not looking, the wildest, most unexpectedly wonderful things can happen." She also talks about being a blonde, and she calls it the Blonde Tribe, so it's quite fun. If you have a blonde friend, you are a blonde, you might want to pick this up. You also might want to pick this up if you're interested in knowledge about how actors and actresses work on TV, what their schedule's like, because she goes through that as she worked on 90210 and What I Like About You and other assorted TV shows, and she talks about Dancing with the Stars, and her perspective is quite cute sometimes. She's like, my partner was younger than me, so he was just a baby, but he was teaching her all these really cool dance moves. So if you're a fan of Dancing with the Stars, or 90210, or any of the other shows that she's been in, it might be a good idea to pick this book up. I enjoyed it. I spent my birthday week with her, just hanging out, learning more about her life, and it was a fun read. So thanks for tuning into Read Feed. This has been Jennie Garth, The Deep Thoughts from a Hollywood Blonde.